Hamas released 2 American hostages, Judith Tai Raanan and her 17-year-old daughter, Natalie Raanan, on Friday, nearly 2 weeks after launching a deadly attack in Israel and abducting around 200 people. The Raanans are from Chicago and had been visiting relatives in Nahal Oz, a farming community in southern Israel, when they were taken hostage on October 7th. Family members are still grieving the loss of other relatives killed in Hamas's attack. And several family members are still being held captive, the youngest being just 3 years old. Some are U.S.-Israeli dual citizens. Judith and Natalie are related to former Israel-based NBC News correspondent Martin Fletcher. Speaking on NBC's Today Show Monday, Fletcher said he did not know why Judith and Natalie were singled out for release. Maybe they were the closest to the border, and it was just simply the easiest to free them when the time came. There is great relief, obviously, but great concern as well, he said, as 8 more members of the family are still held hostage in Gaza. Hamas said it had freed Yokheved Lifshitz and Nurit Yitzhak, who also goes by the name Nurit Cooper, for humanitarian reasons, in response to mediation by Qatar and Egypt. The women were airlifted to a Tel Aviv hospital to be reunited with family. Yokheved Lifshitz, a frail 85-year-old grandmother who was one of 2 hostages released by Hamas on Monday, recounted the moment that militants snatched her from her home in the kibbutz of Nahal Oz and drove her away on a motorbike towards Gaza, a painful act, during which she said she was beaten and sustained bruises. Lifshitz said she was forced to walk on wet ground and descended into an underground tunnel system she likened to a spider web, where she was greeted by people who told us we believe in the Quran and promised not to harm her and her fellow hostages. Lifshitz's daughter, Sharon, who helped convey her mother's comments to reporters outside a hospital in Tel Aviv on Tuesday, called it a huge network of tunnels. Lifshitz said she was initially grouped with 25 other people before her captors separated her into a smaller group with 4 other individuals from her kibbutz. She said they slept on mattresses on the floor of the tunnels, ate the same food as Hamas fighters, and received regular treatment from doctors during her incarceration. Each of the 5 hostages in her group received their own doctor, and there was a paramedic present who supervised medication, she said. They were very generous to us, very kind. They kept us clean, Lifshitz said. They took care of every detail. There are a lot of women, and they know about feminine hygiene, and they took care of everything there. Lifshitz also accused the Israel Defense Forces and Shin Bet intelligence service of not taking threats from Hamas seriously and said the costly Gaza border fence erected by Israel had done nothing to protect her community from Hamas's attack. The UN reported that before the Hamas attack, an average of 500 vehicles carrying humanitarian aid crossed the Egypt border daily. However, after the attack, this number significantly dropped to approximately 20 vehicles per day. This has left the 2 million residents of Gaza in anticipation of much-needed aid deliveries via the Rafah border crossing with Egypt. In response to Lifshitz's statement, experts believe that the level of care provided for the hostages in this situation suggests a high level of preparedness for the attack. The conflict has resulted in a significant loss of life, with at least 6,400 casualties on both sides. Among these, there have been approximately 1,400 Israeli civilians and soldiers, as well as 33 Americans who lost their lives. According to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, at least 5,087 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza and the West Bank, with over 15,270 wounded. Furthermore, there are concerns that 10 Americans may be among the 222 people held captive by Hamas.